Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Nasdaq Spotlight. I'm your host, Jack Castle, and joining us today from the Nasdaq Entrepreneurial Center in San Francisco is the co-founder and CEO of Hex, Barry McCardel. Barry, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me here.
So for our audience, let's kick off. Tell us a little bit about Hex and the solutions you provide.
So Hex is a collaborative platform for data science and analytics. If you look at the way most data science teams or data teams of any type work, they're jumping between a lot of different tools. They're writing a SQL query over here. They're using a Python notebook over here. They've got a script running over here. They're pushing something into a dashboard over here. And a lot of things just wind up back in spreadsheets. Hex, we help really solve that. And we're one integrated platform. We fix a lot of that fragmentation for individuals. We're cloud first and fully collaborative. You can almost think of it like a Google Docs or Figma for data, which helps people collaborate and work together and do better work as a team. Mm-hmm. And then it's very easy in Hex to publish your work as something that anyone else can use. And that can be a simple report or a really deeply interactive sort of data app. But altogether, this really helps data teams be much more impactful. They can do better work, they can work better together, and then their insights are actually more useful and impactful for the rest of the organization.
Yeah. So as we talk about all those solutions, you've really been at the forefront of bringing AI to data workflows. So maybe tell us a little bit about that element of the solutions as well.
Yeah, so it's probably not lost on anyone. There's been a big revolution with large language models, and there's a huge opportunity to really transform productivity workflows of every type. And we think there's a massive opportunity within data itself on how you can better use these models to partner with people doing analytics. And so we've introduced these features. We call them our magic features. They are tools to be able to generate, edit, debug, and document code built right into the existing Hex workflow. So if you were a data scientist, you could ask the model to help you write a query or edit some Python or explain some code. Or even if you hit an error as you're building something, it'll automatically suggest a magic fix. And as someone who has more and more errors in my code every day, that is a very useful tool for me. And the net result of this is you actually have this awesome thing where you're not replacing data teams, but you're helping them focus on the much more creative, insightful work that you really want humans doing and less of the drudgery and tedium that can come with data work. You'll talk to a lot of data scientists, and they'll be like, well, my job is much more plumbing than science. You're doing a lot of, fixing dependencies and hunting down a missing parentheses in a query somewhere. These magic features really pull you up out of that and help you stay in that more creative state. And then we think they're also have a lot of potential to help further democratize these types of workflows for people. There's a barrier of entry for data science and analytics today. You have to go learn SQL and you have to go learn how to write everything in Python or build complex visualizations. And if the AI can help meet you where you're at and help level you up, we think there's a lot of potential there. But we really approach this from the standpoint of how we can augment and accelerate human insight, not replace it. This is not sort of a black box, no more data team thing. Right? So you're building these tools for data teams to do better and more creative work.
Yeah. Now, with that acceleration, you actually received a new round of funding with Sequoia. So with the current fundraising environment, maybe walk us through that new round and then also the uses of capital or what your plans are there.
Yeah, well, we weren't necessarily looking to fundraise, but we'd known the folks at Sequoia for a long time, and obviously they have had a big role in sort of every wave of computing, and I think we're entering a new wave of computing right now with what's going on with AI, and so we saw an opportunity to partner with them to help accelerate this for us. And I think the opportunity over the next few years, there's really these two waves that are coming together that we feel like we're right at the center of. There's a wave we've been riding for a few years now, which is this sort of modern data stack. It's a revolution in how folks are organizing their data, how they're bringing it together, and then Hex we really see as the answer to how can we actually take all that data and make it useful. You combine that with this wave happening with AI and large language models, and we just see an enormous amount of potential to transform the way people do data science and analytics workflows. And so, these things, hiring amazing engineers and designers and go-to-market folks around all of this adds up. Yeah. So we figure, given the size of the opportunity here, more funding and backing from great partners like the folks at Sequoia was was a good call.
Yeah, well, very exciting. Obviously, an incredible firm, and exciting to see what's ahead. As you know from being a prior winner here, we like to conclude with advice for an entrepreneur. And again, given everything that's changed in our world since we last connected, I'd love to ask you that again. Any advice you have for the entrepreneurs as we sit here today?
Yeah, totally. I think my advice last year was about being really problem obsessed. You hear a lot of startup founders be like, hey, I've got a startup idea, but I think it's really important to start with the actual pain and problem users and organizations are feeling. I think that is only heightened right now with this sort of hype and opportunity around AI. People are very excited about this new class of models, and rightly so. There's a ton of potential here. But you see a lot of people sort of building solutions or taking technology and sort of looking for a problem to solve. And I would really encourage anyone that's looking to be a founder, especially founder around AI, to really be thinking and very thoughtful about what are the actual real problems you want to solve for individuals or organizations. How can AI actually have a unique impact on that? And how are you able to actually integrate that in a workflow or solution that goes beyond just a thin wrapper around the OpenAI API, which is not super defensible and probably not a great long-term business.
Okay, well said.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see what changes in the next year. It's exciting. It's very exciting times. Yeah.
You keep winning and keep scaling. We'll be back.
I'll do my best.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me.